Oh, it looks so beautiful there.
Oh, I did. Yeah, it's pretty. I love it up here.
Oh,
I
so
love, I
nice.
love living up here. I got to tell you something. I don't miss living in the city.
No? You think you'd make a permanent move?
I don't know. I mean, I've really gotten into the rhythm of it up here. It's really sort of, and I think part of it is because, we all had to have such a big mental reset
Yeah.
that, it's going to be such a different world. Even if everything goes back, like we've all shifted mentally, to really realize, watching stuff, learning stuff, knowing what we know now, knowing how we lived once. I just think it's going to be a totally different world we
I
move
do
into.
too. I'm interested to see how everything is gonna play out and,
Yeah,
see
my
what.
because we go to Lincoln Center every year. We go the beginning of the season to the opera, then we go to we eat dinner at Lincoln Center, then we go to the ballet at the beginning of the season, have dinner. Like, are we even gonna have that? Is
Right.
Lincoln open?
I know. Ugh, I hope so. I hope in a way we can figure this all out.
Yeah.
But how are you feeling about watching this season? I mean, I can't believe we're like, what, 6 or 7 weeks in? I'm loving the
Eight.
season. 8. Oh my God,
Eight.
8.
This is gonna be our eighth this week. This Thursday will be eight
Wow,
already.
that's
Doesn't that seem
crazy.
ridiculous? You know what I said the other day is it takes us so, you have those 4 intense, arduous months where you're filming, hours and hours and hours and hours, and then it goes by like this.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And listen, it's definitely, I think it's a good season.
Great.
I'm very excited about the season. I think the girls did a great job. We started off, obviously everyone knows, we started off a little bit off kilter there when Bethany left, and none of us were sure. It's scary when a key player like that leaves.
Of
It's a
course.
big, and we had the new girl Leah come on, and you never know how the new girl's going to do, because sometimes it's great, sometimes it's a fail, and you kind of know almost right away. So we were sort of, in my mind, 2 people down because I hadn't known Leah yet. But I think the girls really, I got to tell you something, we all worked like animals. If we could do it, if we could film it, if we could be engaged in it, we did it. The teamwork was incredible this year.
Yeah. And what do you think of Leah? I love her. I think she's fantastic.
Amazing.
Yeah.
She's I'll tell you what, I just said this to her the other day. She's a perfect housewife because she is, she tells it like she sees it. She's not trying to hide anything. She kind of gets the game.
Yeah.
Or whatever it is. She gets the rules of the game, and that's important. And she does, you have to at some level open yourself up to this process, but also once you have to accept that you no longer have anonymity, and people are going to have good opinions and bad opinions and happy with you. And she really is able to manage it. And listen, she's a lot younger than us, but she really rolls right in.
Yeah.
She's a housewife.
She really is. She kind of it almost seamlessly fit right in. Like, it seems like she's been part of the group forever.
I think that happened sort of, several seasons ago when a new girl came on the new girl came on to sing The New Gangster in Town, came on the yeah.
Yep. Exactly. I mean, obviously, let's talk a little bit about last episode. I mean, was that a really tough episode for you to watch back?
Yes, I mean, I think, absolutely it was a tough episode to watch, but I think the thing is that, there's a lot of things going on, and obviously we can't break the fourth wall.
Sure.
And also too, there's a lot of things coming up, and a lot of things that I am going through myself that, are making me sort of definitely on edge and uptight. And I think, it's just, the answer is yes, it was.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, do you feel like people are seeing a different side to you this season? Because like you said, you have a lot going on.
Yeah, I think so. Absolutely. I mean, I think I say it at the winery, I just feel vulnerable and scared and overwhelmed. I mean, listen, there's so much. I said to someone the other day, I actually, right before we started filming, thought, I can't do this. Mm-hmm. Like, I just can't take another thing. But I knew, you know what? I made the decision. I'm in this process. decided to be a housewife, and you have to be a housewife, good times, bad times. That's part of the process.
Yeah.
And that's the journey that you need to take the viewer on, and then they can take and do what they want with it. But you got to remember, I had my house that was shut down completely for 10 months, a disaster. And it's, it's not like a little house. And it kind of threw me into this mode, like, what am I doing with this house? Like, why am I doing this? Do I really want to, redo it all, or just take the insurance money and run? You know what I mean? Because, things like that. I would come in, and it happened at the gloomiest time of the year. It happened January 2018. So it kind of went to sleep. There was no heat, no electricity, water everywhere. Paint, the ceiling started to sag because it had so much water in it. I just didn't see the end of it. And then I think it opened up the process with John. Like, what am I doing in my life? What am I doing in my relationship? Do I really not ever want to, move forward and live with someone again? And I don't particularly think I want to ever be married myself. I've done it twice.
Yeah.
But just, where were we doing? What's going, like, I said to someone, what my tagline should have been, I'm not only reconstructing my house, I'm reconstructing myself.
I like that. What I mean? Yeah.
Because then I broke my rib 2 weeks before we started filming. I was like, I literally would cry to my mother, I don't know what's going on. Nothing's working out anymore. And she would say to me, it's exactly where it should be. There's a reason. Well, okay, you broke your rib. Guess that means you got to slow down.
Mm-hmm.
So there was it almost in a weird way prepared me a little bit for this COVID.
Yeah. Yeah. No, maybe it wasn't gonna, in a way telling you to kind of take a step back a little bit.
Step back and I got to tell you, it taught me for the first time. I have been running and taking care of and nurturing and problem solving and feeling responsible for things, people, jobs, places since I was 16.
Mm-hmm.
And I really just decided at some point, I got to start being selfish because I'm only one person.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said to someone, it's like I was doing a tap dance all the time, and it got faster and faster and faster. And I was like, stop.
Yeah.
You
just got to pump the brakes a little bit. I mean, you say on the show, which, you said, you're 55 and this was not the story that you wanted your life to be at this point. But now that you've taken that time for yourself, you've been a little selfish. Do you feel like now you're finally in that place where you needed to be?
You know what it is? I think a lot of times with women, especially, that they write a script for themselves,
mm-hmm.
and they don't allow themselves to really veer away from the script. And if they do, it's considered in their mind a failure.
Yeah.
And the truth of the matter is, if we took that pressure off ourselves as women and just let it kind of flow a little bit, and, as my mother says, let it play out as it should, you'd be surprised how, things are meant to be, everything has a beginning, a middle, and an end. And things are meant to pass. Mm-hmm. And I think a lot of times as women, including myself, you think, oh, well, motherhood, that's gone. Or this is gone. And you can get a little crazy. But instead of flipping a little and saying, great, now I can do me. Like someone right before COVID happened, someone called me and said, hey, do you want to come? There was a big hotel opening up in Amsterdam. Do you want to come with me for the weekend? A good girlfriend of mine, just fly to London and we'll go there. And it was like in 5 days. And I was thinking, my first instinct being a mother, a wife, a responsible person, always available, that was, it's too soon.
Yeah.
But I thought to myself, sure. Because
why not?
I literally can go to the airport right now.
Yeah.
I mean, so it freed me up a lot. To just say, I'm not going to call 20 people. I'm not going to kind of ask this. I think I was asking permission a lot in my life without realizing it. Not even like people required it. I felt like I had to ask permission to do a lot of my life. Now I'm like, I'm doing it. If you don't like it, it's too bad.
Too bad, yeah.
And also, too, it's made me a lot more intolerant to any bullshit. Oh, sorry, you can't say
No, you're fine. You're fine. You're fine.
Intolerant to people that are phonies, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Definitely. I mean, how is your relationship with John now? I mean, did he kind of learn a lot about how you were feeling by watching the show this season?
Yes. Well, that's the funny thing, with the magic of TV, we didn't, there's not enough time. I never blame anything on editing, but you can't see the whole thing. It wasn't like there was some big breakup. In fact, poor John was like, what? Were we really broken up? It's just that I realized there was a change, and I was going out with like more of my girlfriends on my own. We just, someone said, well, when did you break up? I'm like, well, that's just a silly question. After you date someone 7.5 years and you're 55 years old, you don't really like break up. I mean, it's just that John's part of my life. And I say it on the show. He's still part of my life. He'll always, as I say in the show, he'll always have a seat at my table. We check in once a week with each other. How can you, feed a person for 7.5 years, sleep with that person for 7.5 years, have them involved in your ups and downs, and then one day just say, goodbye. Yeah. Broken up.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's not who I am. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Do you want to get back together? Does he want to get back together? And do you see that in your future?
We don't even think like that. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? We're just now, we worked it. It's sort of taken on a different form.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. More of a friendship.
The other day, one of his dogs died. He said, I'm really upset my dog died. That's too bad. And are you okay? We're still engaged in each other's life. I just don't know. I just don't know if we should, I just don't think we're good life partners. I think in a weird way, I've become more like I used to be before I met John, before all this happened. I've just kind of gone back to sort of a very quieter, just different.
Yeah.
And I think this COVID is going to even make me more different. All I wear is like bohemian clothes now and stuff. Thought I had to go to the city yesterday to pick up a bunch of tax stuff and just all this personal stuff that I needed to have up here and get some medicine and stuff. And it was just weird seeing my closet.
Yeah. You're like, this isn't me.
Like, you know what I mean? It's like, we're so far from it, from the makeup down. Like,
yeah. No, totally.
Right now, going to a department store and buying makeup, like literally, I just go to CVS. I'm like, I'll get this flavor Bonnie Bell today.
Yeah. I'm like, whatever's been in my drawer for years, I'm sure it's all expired, but
exactly.
Whatever. You know what? It was hard hearing you say this past episode too, was that, for the first time you feel like you're really mourning Richard, which, kind of, broke my heart a little bit. And, that I'm sure that's another reason why this season was probably so difficult for you.
Well, remember, people don't really understand it because they're like, what do you mean you never went through the stuff? This is my country house. I arrive here on Fridays. I usually leave on Sundays or Monday mornings. We lived in New York, so I, of course, cleared that all up. But
sure.
Once I came up here after he passed, it's not like I started going through all this stuff. You just, I kind of like just picked up and started going. Like I had someone move all this stuff, a lot of it into the basement and the cedar closets, a lot of it packed up. And then I just sort of chose to keep running again instead of dealing. I can do this. Just keep moving. It's going to be fine. So that was the first time I had to really, really see all. And it was a funny thing when I told my mom, I said, can you believe that all of Richard's stuff, I didn't even get a chance to go through it. It just literally got thrown into a dumpster.
Oh.
It was good. I'm glad. Because God knows you were never going to do it. But it was a physical cleanse and an emotional cleanse.
Yeah.
And it freed me up to take ownership of this house fully, which I think and therefore helped me take ownership of my life fully. Like this is it. Yeah. Like eyes wide open now, Lord. Eyes wide open.
That's great.
If it doesn't look good, I don't want to. If it doesn't feel good, I don't want to do it. If it doesn't, sound good, I don't want to do it. I've earned my badge in this. I've earned my stripes in this area.
Totally. I mean, obviously you can't really get out because of everything that's going on, but before all this, were you dating again? Do you want to start dating again once things kind of get back to normal?
I'm not, Ramona is a great dater. She's so good. She's so enthusiastic. She's out there. I've never been that type of person. I'm sort of going to let it, I kind of let it, I'll probably end up eventually meeting somewhere, at a dinner party with one of my friends or, at the CVS. I don't know. If it happens again, it will be very random.
Yeah.
I've had a couple gentlemen callers, before the COVID thing. No, someone wrote to me that just recently, and I had one dinner with them because I thought, why not? I'll go to dinner, and I made them go to dinner within my neighborhood, within a block. Okay,
Just in case.
I was like, I don't really know if I should be doing this, but if it's on my block, it's not. It's just like a meeting anyway. So I got this very nice text the other night. Said, "Hi, it's so. I just want you to know that as soon as COVID's over, I would love to have another date and have another wonderful evening with you in New York City." I'm thinking, did we have a wonderful evening, or did I something I don't remember? I just remember ordering an entree, no appetizer, because it's going to go on too long. You're going back home.
You're like, were we at the same dinner? I don't think so.
He's like, another wonderful evening. I'm like, I don't think you're writing to the right person.
You're like, who's this? A lot of the ladies this past episode had to hear about the breakup through page 6. Was that a conscious decision? That did you not want to?
But it wasn't a breakup. They said,
right.
If you read page 6, it says, Dorinda Medley scene about town, by yourself. I've always gone out with Greg on I just was going out more.
Right.
And after they saw me was at the James Beard house, the James Beard dinner, because he does a lot of the dinners for them, and I always go as his +1. So it was actually, it just wasn't right. I mean, I even read it the next morning. I was like, huh? I knew they'd run with it because it wasn't. In fact, I saw John like 2 nights later. We went to the movies. It wasn't
this big thing.
No. And I think the reason why that got picked up at the James Beard dinner there is because because someone that saw me there kind of thought it was a great story, because I was sort of out and about on my own, you know what I mean? And I was so engaged with getting the house done that I was always up here by myself or filming.
Right. Yeah. And of course we have to talk about the big fight between you and Tinsley. Looking back on it, do you think you were a little too hard on her, or do you feel like you were justified in how you were feeling?
Well, I think this is what I think. Yes, I think, we always look back and we could have done it better. But at that point, Tinsley's going to start chiming in on stuff that she really knows nothing about, just to chime in on it, not to really have an opinion. And Tinsley has really told us nothing about her life.
Yeah.
So, and these are women, Ramona, Luann, Sonia, and now Leah, that really were calling me, engaged in my life, concerned, and know my life, go to dinner with me, go, live in New York City. And I just thought that Tinsley was being a little bit like a know-it-all or something. I don't know what sort. She was almost being so oh, well, big deal a little bit, Yeah. So I think I got overly offended. And yes, of course, you always wish you handled these things better. But you know what? As I always say, that's how I was feeling at the time. There's other things going on in the background that, people don't know about or people don't see. And Tinsley doesn't really know us. She doesn't really lived in, she came back, lived with Sonia, then lived in a hotel.
Yeah.
For the 4 months we were filming.
Do you think
we didn't really hang out with her that much?
Do you think that she didn't make the effort to get to know you very well?
Well, I don't think she really knew any of the girls that well.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's not like, the good news about the rest of the other, me, Ramona, Lou, Tinsley, me, Ramona, Lou, Sonia, is that we all see each other. When we're not filming, we're still seeing each other. We go to dinner, we go for a walk, we have lunch, we're in each other's lives. Mm-hmm. Whereas Tinsley would stop filming with us at the end of December and go just silent until next time we'd all see her would be the reunion.
Right. Yeah.
So no idea where she was, what she was doing. It was all very top secret. And here's the thing about that. That's great. And everybody should have that option. But then it's very hard to be on a reality show.
Yeah. And I'm sure it's very hard for you to open up about things that feel personal and close to you with somebody. Like you said before, you don't really have time for phonies anymore. And I don't know if Tinsley is under that
also,
umbrella.
you gotta remember, it's unfair to the rest of the girls because these girls have put their whole lives out there. I mean, look at Luann.
Yeah.
Luann literally put her whole life for the world to see. Ramona, Sonia, we've had to go through all these different steps with Sonia. You know, it may be uncomfortable for the viewer sometimes, but it's why you love us.
Yeah, no, that's true. I did enjoy your new one-liner, got a effing bitch and I served it warm. I did enjoy that. That was a new favorite of mine.
I think. What did I say?
You said, I got a effing bitch and I served it warm.
Oh, Brenda, where do I come up with or out with these things?
I don't know, but it's fantastic. What's the status of your friendship with Tinsley now?
Well, we just don't. I mean, obviously we didn't end well, but I never really saw Tinsy when we weren't filming.
Mhm.
It just wasn't. I mean, uh, she wouldn't even be living in New York right now.
Yeah.
I just don't. It's not a status thing. It's like saying, "What's my status with you right now?" Like,
Right.
we really didn't hang out that much.
Sure.
We started. We did the coupon cabin. Oh, yeah, we did this thing with coupon cabin. Then they all took us. We all did a coupon cabin trip afterwards. That was, that was like more work.
Sure.
Than,
Yeah. What was your take when Ramona said that you were jealous of Tinsley on this last episode?
so bizarre. Yeah, I know. I think Ramona's jealous of Tinsy because Ramona wants to just find a rich guy and get married. I have zero desire to do that.
Yes.
Sometimes Ramona doesn't realize she's talking about herself.
We see that, I think, in this upcoming episode, you and Ramona kind of get in it this episode.
Yeah.
Can you kind of tease what happens? And
Well, Ramona likes to project, but she doesn't want to hear anything about herself.
Mhm.
So, Ramona points out things and I point them back to her.
Yeah. But you guys are okay, right?
Yes, I've known Ramona over 20 years, well over 20 years now. And I think also too, the thing about Ramona I felt like Ramona was a little insensitive to me for what I was going through this year. I needed definitely a little bit of, I needed a soft place to land, and I needed her to be more of a soft place to land than I felt like she was being. She was very critical of me bringing up Richard, critical of me going through what I'm going through, critical of, whatever. And, Ramona and I have been in each other's life a long time and gone through a lot of things that I thought she would be more empathetic than she was. And so I think that was that kind of. Sonia was very, very good this year with me. Sonia and I really bonded, and actually Leah and I really bonded. And Lou is great this year. There's just a different lightness to Lou, and she seems to be her back to her old self, which is nice to see.
That's great. I mean, what do you think about fans, kind of their reaction that they might be a little bit divided about you and Tinsley? What do you make of that, or do you not even pay attention?
I don't really pay attention.
You're like, whatever. Like, I'm enjoying my.
You know what? Because it's like news, it moves so fast. We live in a world where the news moves so fast that it's just not relevant. You know what I mean? Next week will be a new episode and new opinions. And I don't think you can look at those things. I think it would drive you crazy.
Yeah. No, definitely.
I feel bad that, Mary in Illinois just doesn't like me this week. But look, I mean, I didn't know her before. I'm just doing my job. I'm just being, as transparent as I can at the time. I'm making mistakes. I'm also making you laugh sometimes. I try to, and nothing's perfect in this process. Right. It's a hard process.
Oh, I can't imagine putting your whole life out there for everybody to judge and make opinions on. That's not easy.
And they do.
Yeah, I'm sure they do. I mean,
I appreciate all the fans and the sport and stuff, but I can't go through, thousands of comments every day and try to figure out what means what. You know what I'm saying? And in a weird way, dare I say, I think if people are engaging and interacting, we're doing something right with the show.
Of course.
Does that sound terrible?
No, I mean,
if we were all just there being nice to each other and being sweet and polite and stuff, I don't know if Mary from Illinois would watch it.
No, that's so true. I mean, do you feel like this is the strongest season that you've been a part of so far? I mean, as a viewer, it's definitely very, very entertaining.
I can't, I'm too close to it. Like, I actually really have to ask, like my brother, was that good? Because you just can't, I'm praying, but we've had a lot of good seasons. Listen, every season I've done with a housewife, I've enjoyed it. And the great thing is each one's a little different.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We've had some great seasons.
You really have.
Cartagena, that was it wasn't at the time, but we've had some really fun seasons.
You definitely have. And
I always say when I'm old one day in the nursing home, sitting there, someone's going to come to me and say, weren't you that lady? I'm going to be like, yes. And it was so much fun.
It was great. It was the time of my life.
It was a hell of a ride, and I made it nice.
You did.
Sometimes.
You mentioned Luann. We're almost done, but you mentioned Luann, and we talked a little bit about her, decision to decide to drink again. And you and Ramona, were really supportive of her, but there were some that were a little judgmental. I know Elise was a little judgmental about it. Did you find that to be fair? I mean,
well, this is the thing. First of all, it's none of anyone's business.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a personal choice. Number two, I thought it was probably a little unfair of Elise because she doesn't really know Lou.
Yeah.
So I think you got to be a little careful with that. Like, even when you're close to someone, you should probably pull them aside and just say, listen, can I talk to you? So I think that's what it was. It was more awkward than unfair, I think. Because it's like, wait a second, you don't even know each other.
Right.
And Lou's gone through this personal process, and she's a big girl, and she's a responsible girl, and it's her choice. It doesn't matter what we say. It's what Lou feels right. And it's for us to say, well, we're here if you need you.
Definitely.
And would you like to have another drink?
Okay. Would you like me to pour you a vodka?